Good morning, everyone. This is the Namakwa Unitarian Universalist Congregation, in case you wondered where you were. This is a come-as-you-are congregation. No matter who you are, what your faith, who you love, you are welcome here. I am Kathy Hartman, and my able companion today is Clay Roper. We serve as worship associates to this loving congregation. If you're not sure what worship associates are, we assist the minister. Our minister is on vacation, and during those times, we try and put together a meaningful service without the guidance of the pro. We acknowledge that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homeland of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. We recognize and honor the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and vow to reconcile the deep wounds that still shape our history today, our world today. I want to extend a special welcome to any first or second time visitors, and I know we have a few today, so please be sure that we have your information and we'll keep in touch with you and hope we can welcome you back. The Namakwa Unitarian Universalist Congregation fosters a beloved community that celebrates diversity, strives for peace and justice, acts mindfully for the good of the planet, and inspires spiritual growth through a free and loving search for truth and meaning. We are glad you're here today as part of this beloved community. Couple of things. Next Sunday, 10 a.m. regular time, Janet Wright and Fred Schreckinger will remind us of days gone by, stories and wisdom from our youth. You won't want to miss it. Our monthly board meeting is Tuesday, 6:30 in Parker Hall. Namakwa women will convene for potluck, outdoor games, and conversation on Wednesday, July 12th at 5 p.m. at my house, which is just down the street. It will not rain. And hopefully it will not rain in the 2 days before then so I can get my grass cut. Join us for coffee hour after the service over in Parker Hall. I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's service. Did I lose my mic? Okay. We've got ushers, we've got tech people, we've got musicians. It takes a village, and everyone has done a marvelous job.
Please join me in saying our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is called. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Let's share that spirit of love by greeting the people around you, hopefully someone you don't know and can meet this morning. Don't get up, don't get up. Good to see you.
Oh, always good to see you.
I can't do Tuesday, though. I can't do Tuesday. Cat. One more minute.
Another couple of seconds, maybe.
A bit?
Another couple of seconds,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, we had to let that happen.
Where do I hit this thing? I never
You
know.
gotta hold it at the bottom. Yeah. Now, if there are any children in body or spirit that would like to join for today's story for all ages, I'll be reading Silence by Carmi Limnastates. If you'd like to join me up here, you're welcome to. In the silence, I can hear the waves crashing. And the wind playing with my kite. At night, I can hear what the stars tell me. And in the morning, what the birds say. When I listen, I can hear my feet when dancing. My heart when running. My legs when swimming. And my breath when I am still. In spring, I can hear bees loving flowers. In summer, trees chattering. In fall, leaves as they tumble. In winter, snow twinkling. Be still. Listen. How many things can you hear?
Now, if any of the children would like to go and join our magnificent religious education professional, Jan and Wright, we'll sing you out. Let's form an arch and sing our children out to their next event. Let's do This Little Light of Mine. Okay, Kat, would you start us? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
And as Kathy lights our chalice, I'd like to share these words on silence from the Persian poet Hafiz. A day of silence can be a pilgrimage in itself. A day of silence can help you listen to the soul play the marvelous lute and drum. Is not most talking a crazed defense of a crumbling fort? I thought we came here to surrender in silence, to yield to light and happiness, to dance within in celebration of love's victory.
Each week you support the work of our congregation in all the ways that we live our values by making a contribution to our church. Half of it goes to our church's budget, half goes to a nonprofit organization helping us to make a difference beyond our walls. Today we're asking you to give on faith. We have not yet chosen the recipient for this quarter because we are doing things a little differently this year, and we are trying to align our financial contributions with our social justice ministry priorities. So there are ballots. I was going to say they're in the back of the church, but I think they're over in Parker Hall right now. So if you haven't filled one out, I've gotten quite a few back, but if you haven't filled one out, there are nomination forms over in the other building, and we'll get those to you. Oh, we got a few here. This year we're going to donate to 6 agencies instead of 4. And I think it's a great experiment, and we'll see how we do and how you all like it and how they all benefit.
Hands open to the day. Breathe in, breathe out. Hands joined as if to pray. breathe in, breathe out. Arms reaching to the sky, then circling around, down to the earth. Eyes lifted to the light, to the light. Hands, branches catching rain. Breathe in, breathe out. Then rising like a stalk of grain. Breathe in, breathe out. Arms reaching to the sky, then circling around, down to the earth. Eyes lifted to the light, to the light. Hands open to the day. Breathe in, breathe out. Hands joined as if to pray. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
We come together to share our lives and to care for one another through all that life brings. So if you have a short personal joy or sorrow you'd like to share with the congregation, I'd ask you to come forward. Do we know, is that microphone working, Clay? Yep, you can come up and use this microphone and let us know what's going on. If you can't get to the microphone, we'll come to you. Oh,
My very good friend, Rosemary Salmons, who hated to be called Rosie, and we called her Rosie all the time. She died last week. I miss her.
let's use the heartbeat to show our concern.
We just got back from Seattle and we were visiting our daughter and our, what is he now, 8-month-old grandson, and found out that he's soon to have a brother.
Well, for one little blessing and another one on the way, and boy, they might be walking at the same time. But congrats to the happy grandparents.
I'm Andrea, and Alan and I just came back from a trip for a lifetime, and I'm a musician, a classical musician, and I made it to Vienna. And to walk the path and be in the house that Mozart and Beethoven, it was just sublime. And I want to thank Leo. We afterwards went to Amsterdam, and our last name is Van Nest. And like everyone we talked to said, "Oh, you've got a Dutch name." And I said, "Yes, that's why we're here." And I want to thank Leo so much for sort of prepping us and and giving us some wonderful books to prepare for it. So I'm still glowing from it. And anyway, it was just terrific.
Here's to wonderful world experiences. We know we all travel a lot, and we always wonder if anyone's going to be here on Sunday morning in summer. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Elaine. June has been a really joyful month for me. I turned 70 on June 1st. Then, then I got to travel to North Carolina to meet for the first time in person my 10-month-old grandson, and I got to be with his 3.5-year-old sister. So that was wonderful. And then I got a long weekend up in Livermore, a place called Coulda Been, because it could have been a ranch, but it's only 35 acres. And we did indigo dyeing, and we painted birdhouses, and it was just a marvelous weekend with good friends, good food, and a lot of creativity going on there. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to July, see what happens now.
Here's again to wonderful experiences. And Elaine, you don't look a day over 69.
Good morning, all. I'm Bruce. On the 27th of this month, I am scheduled to die. Unlike famous persons in the past, I won't have to wait 3 days for resurrection. The people who take my life will give it back to me with 2 new heart bypasses and 2 new valves. It's always a difficult choice when you have damage done to your body. The benefits you get from it must be a lot in order to justify the damage. I'm looking forward to the promised extended life.
Here's to the miracles of science, and we wish you all the best, Bruce. And I don't know why you have a temporary name tag. Have you not been here recently? I used to have one, but I couldn't find it. Same. Anyone else? Oh.
Well, Elaine mentioned that she's excited about what's coming in July. And I just have to, well, of course, we have to plug again the women's group event on Wednesday. That's going to be fun. That's in July. So please come out to that. And I just have to plug because it's my kiddo and he's turning 4 in July. And he would just, this is his family as much as, the Alexander family. And we'd love to have any of you come out for that. So if you're interested, talk to me. I'll give you all the details. So yeah, that's exciting.
Here's to growth of that little character. We love him. Anyone else? Do we have anyone up on Zoom that needs to say something or wants to say something? Not a word. Well, for all those joys and sorrows that we can't express necessarily, let's do a couple more heartbeats and be in this together.
So I'd like to have a little introduction to this next piece. We've got an excerpt from a piece called 433 by a composer from the 20th century named John Cage. It's kind of infamous. It is composed for any collection or arrangements of instruments. Today it'll be Cherry on the piano. And the composer created it to open the metaphorical and sometimes the literal windows of the performance hall to the world at large. When I encounter this piece of music and others that are similar to it, I like to think about how they point at how every moment is a co-creation and how there's something being said behind the instrument or between the notes or behind the voice that you might hear, and just invites us to really open our ears to what else there is in the world around us. So today she'll perform an excerpt. We'll call it 33 instead of 433. And if this whets your appetite for more, you can find many accomplished performances of this piece on YouTube and other places online. Thank you.
Let's give Cherry a big.
You can tell you've been rehearsing. So, silence, like the pupil of your eye, is an absence. It's defined by what it is not. Even still, it can be a powerful ally, or, when viewed another way, a rich and renewable resource. I'd like to invite you all today to join me in an exploration seeking that resource, one that I hope can leave you with a kind of map. I'd like for us to begin, if we could each find a comfortable position in your seat, however that works best for you and for your body. Maybe let your hands rest loosely in your lap. Feel free to close your eyes or let your gaze drift unfocused in front of you. Take a deep breath in and hold it, feeling it fill your lungs, then let it go, returning it to the air from which you are only ever borrowing. And another breath in as oxygen enters your bloodstream, then let it go, freeing carbon dioxide to power the cells of other beings in this web. And as you take another breath in and hold it, you expand, and the breath goes beyond your lungs, and you let it go, and continue to breathe deeply, feeling breath and attention enter your neck and shoulders, releasing tension as it goes, then into your core, into your legs and feet, into the earth below and the space around you. Please continue this breathing and expansion of attention as you take a walk with me. We move down a path on a bright and sunny day. Next to this path is flowing water, a small and rapidly babbling brook. As it runs along, it burbles with worries about family or money or health, and thoughts about tonight's dinner or tomorrow's appointment or next week's trip. It's all of the motion that's constantly churning in your mind. As we continue to calmly, deeply breathe and walk together, I ask you to let those waters flow by and to notice that this brook is widening and deepening into a stream that is calmer and quieter. With each step, it grows wider, now a river, broad and deep and slow. I point to where the river flows, and you see the most beautiful, expansive, placid lake. We approach this lake together, and even with so much water from the river pouring in, it is so calm and clear, reflecting the sun like a mirror. We step into the lake, feeling its cool, cool waters rise above our knees, then waists. Then we are floating in this serenity, the healing waters inviting your muscles to relax and your breath to deepen. The more you relax, the less you can tell the difference between you and the lake, until there is no more lake and there is no more you. There is only tension and silence. Inevitably, a ripple forms in the lake, and there is once again a border between the water and your skin. It is time to return to the shore. And so we turn and swim and step out. Here, you find a bottle on the beach, and you take this bottle and fill it with crystal waters. You stopper the bottle and put it in your pocket, knowing that you will always have some of this silence with you now. And if you ever need more, you know that the lake is here at the quiet end of that babbling brook in your mind. Now we will return to this day, this moment, this sanctuary. You may feel your back against the pew or chair, your feet on the ground. Together, let us take one more deep breath in and hold it, coming completely back to this space, and release, opening your eyes when you want, having returned from the silence for now.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, 'neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touch the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs that voices never shared, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fool, said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words like silent raindrops fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. And the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was for me. And the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered the sounds of silence.
Wow. Thank you, too. They did that this week. They learned that, and it was beautiful. Thank you. And the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and on certain bumper stickers. I have chosen in my life not to be silent. And when we came up with this topic for today, I had a hard time thinking about what I was going to talk about. I have to work really hard to achieve silence. Speaking out definitely comes easier. And one simple form of speaking out is bumper stickers. Short, catchy phrases and an opportunity to connect with like-minded people who are not yet friends. I've had many a pleasant conversation at the back bumper of my car. I love bumper stickers. When I lived in Madison, Wisconsin, I had free rein to express my most radical political and social sentiments. I could consider things like, we need to talk about the elephant in the womb, Americans against spray tan, or tuck frump. I moved to Loveland and I had to be a little more judicious. Currently, I have Benjamin Franklin stating, fake quotes will ruin the internet. That gets a lot of laughs and some good conversation. I support family farms. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And probably the most strident is resist. A higher level of political expression, and I put myself and my car in jeopardy, and I need my car. So imagine my surprise when one night I go out to my car to get something out of the back, and someone had pasted a little sticker on the back of my car that said, "Diversity will be our undoing." I guess my choice of bumper stickers didn't really hide my leanings. Diversity will be our undoing. Really? I grew up with zero diversity. Well, we did have a Ugandan exchange student one year. I was surrounded by white Germans, Poles, Scandinavians, and mixtures thereof. Not a bit of color unless one of those Scandinavians spent too much time in the sun. I had a liberal education because that population was not too far from their socialist roots in Europe. I idealized a world where everyone just got along regardless of color or belief. My speaking out during high school days had to do with the dress code. I did get in trouble for skipping school to go and listen to a political speech, but was it the speech or the fact that beautiful blue-eyed Paul Newman was the speaker? Turned out I lived and learned in a very protected environment, and one that was guided and led by a white, patriarchal, structurally racist system. In the fall of 1968, I went to the University of Wisconsin. The majority were speaking out there. The first real protest I participated in was the Black teaching assistant strike. Turned out that if one was Black, they got less pay and less desirable assignments. I was astounded. How does that even happen? Does the color of one's skin get noted on the hiring documents? The women TAs probably would have struck too, but there were so few of them that they probably couldn't get organized. But this was where I experienced the first personal consequence of speaking out. I was dating this really cute, sweet guy from a small rural town near Madison. We had a lot in common. But when I got involved in the TA strike, his words to me were, "If you don't like it, why don't you just leave?" I'd never thought of that as an avenue. Leave? How would you change anything? I ditched that boyfriend. Not long ago, I also heard our former president express the same sentiment. It's just not a reasonable way to traverse this world, in my opinion. Better the Edward Abbey quote, "Sentiment without action is the ruin of the soul." I have a fair amount of guilt for not doing enough or not speaking out when it is inconvenient, or I'm just too tired or the weeds are too thick in my yard. I'm sure that's true for many. Perhaps the greatest challenge, though, is to determine how and when to speak up, how to use one's voice. The Holocaust survivor, author, and Nobel Peace Prize laureate Elie Wiesel once said that it was impossible to find the correct words to describe the Holocaust, and that maybe the best way would be to find the greatest contemporary actor to appear on the world's greatest stage and to just remain silent. Rabbi Cutler of Montreal, in an article published in the Canadian Jewish News, suggests we ask ourselves 3 questions before deciding whether to speak. Will my voice make a difference? Does engaging this time mean I will be more or less effective next time? How will I see myself in 20 years if I don't speak up? There's also the question of the well-being of those who will be impacted if we don't speak up. By remaining silent when faced with injustice, we are neither fair to others nor loyal to ourselves and our values. The danger in not speaking up, to me, is greater than taking the risk. And there is strength in numbers. That's where we find our courage. Also, a small, well-organized, and articulate group will often be perceived as having many more numbers than they might actually have, and they can be more effective than they might have imagined. Rotate the speaker, be incredibly well prepared, be polite, perhaps inject a little humor, and don't forget the power of surprise. Saul Alinsky, author of Rules for Radicals, writes that the first rule of power tactics is power is not only what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. I also ascribe to the Ruth Bader Ginsburg idea to fight for the things you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. Remember, you have the right to remain silent, but your rights may be silenced if you do. Diversity will be our undoing? I don't think so. Can't stay silent anymore. May it be so. Let's see, we're doing closing song number 170. If you'd like to stand, if you're willing and able, and join us in singing from the Gray Hymnal, number 170. We will extinguish our chalice as we listen to Such Silence by Mary Oliver. As deep as I ever went into the forest, I came upon an old stone bench, very, very old, and around it a clearing, and beyond that, trees taller and older than I had ever seen. Such silence. It really wasn't so far from a town, but it seemed all the clocks in the world had stopped counting. So it was hard to suppose the usual rules applied. Sometimes there's only a hint, a possibility. What's magical sometimes has deeper roots than reason. I hope everyone knows that. I sat on the bench waiting for something, an angel perhaps, or dancers with the legs of goats. No, I didn't see either, but only, I think, because I didn't stay long enough.
See you over in Parker Hall for coffee and conversation, or social hour